Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Nine. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. Like, I cannot imagine how my people have been putting up with these people for how many years. Because telling me as a white woman that you are a white author and that you are here to make white authors' voices to be heard and all that tells me how bad of a writer you are. Because all my life, as tiny as I am, I know that white people are usually heard no matter what. It is people that look like me that are always looking for a way to be heard. But you people, and the fact that she sat there with a straight face and said that the demographic holding the most power is also simultaneously the most discriminated. I do not know who told her to sit down and face the camera to tell people this. It's very laughable. And also, because your book is actually not selling, is not a discrimination. It is actually because you are not a good writer. You need to improve in your writing. And also coming out to tell us that they said that white culture is slavery and all that. Did the person that said, did the person lie? You know your culture is white supremacy. So what are you coming here to tell us? Let's get into this video.
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the white voice. All of my characters in my books are white. I wrote it this way because I have the white voice and I want to spread it. And so that you can learn about white culture and respect white culture. And I think it's really important because the white culture is just crapped on all the time. We hear things like, oh, you don't even have culture, and what is your culture? Just slavery? You know what I'm talking about because you've heard it too. But anyway, back to my books. I'd like to cover just a little bit about them other than to just tell you that I'm a white author with white characters. When you put the two books side by side, it completes the main character's face, Willow. Willow is a 24-year-old broken woman. She gets into a marriage too quickly and things start to unravel when she learns about his dark secrets and she feels trapped. She does embark on a love affair with a guy that she meets at a book club. But is he who he says he is? These are domestic psychological thrillers told from multiple point of views, and one of them is actually from the point of view of an unknown stalker, and that's in book 2. They are fast-paced with short chapters, and so they're short and twisty, and you can grab both of them for the price of one on my TikTok shop. Thank you and support. I wrote it this way because I have the white voice and I want to spread it.
So I'm sitting here wiping my eye as much as possible without gouging it out from what you said because it's making my ass cheeks itch. Now let me just tell you, because honey, I know you got hemorrhoids going on right now. To make this video, say what you said, and you're speaking for white culture, but white culture is white supremacy. White culture has always been white supremacy. It's the upkeep to ensure that they stay at the top and make sure the downfall of everyone else while your guys' knee on our neck. That's what white supremacy is. It's the harm, not harm reduction. It's to ensure you guys walk around with fucking tiki torches screaming, we will not be replaced. We won't be replaced. White culture is still going on like your meemaws and pawpaws of your clan ancestors back then, who still conduct the same behaviors today. They just do it differently because the internet's fucking forever. And we can see the shit you do. Cameras rolling. Newspaper articles. Magazines. Books. Storytelling. 92.5% of most authors, writers, publishers, and reviewers in the United States are white. So their shit gets to be put out there, where Black, Brown, and Indigenous and BIPOC communities are the remaining percentage. 5.2% are Black people to roughly 5.6. So explain to us, while our stuff is getting suppressed, but yours gets to get published, and you say you're only writing for white and only white. You want to see something? Majority of these books are fucking white authors, white characters. 25% of these writers who are white authors write with people of color in it. Write from people from different demographics. And most of those are paranormal romance and erotic romance. I have 25% of these fucking books out of almost 500 books on my shelf are Black writers, authors, publishers, and reviewers. I started purchasing because I wanted to hear from the perspective of my own fucking community. I have Native Indigenous communities on my bookshelf as well. Roughly maybe 2% of my books are from the Indigenous community. BIPOC community, absolutely. About 4% of them are on my bookshelf, where I'm reading from people from the Asian community, Middle Eastern community, people from India, people from Hawaii, and their stories that are not being told by your community in a proper and true light, true and accurate facts in history, because I also have history books. See, that's the difference between you as a white author telling about white people and white supremacy culture. Because if you really want to do things for actual, true people who happen to be white, why don't you talk about their Irish culture? That's culture. German culture, French culture, Italian culture, Greek culture, Middle Eastern culture to those who happen to be white. That's talking about culture. Because culture comes with things like, I don't know, religion, lifestyles, family groupings. Things that have to do from the clothes that they wear, the way they do their hair, the way they speak, the way they dance as part of their culture. The way they get married, the way they have events, the way they have parties is part of their culture. But white culture is white supremacy. It will always be white supremacy, because white supremacy also hurts those who happen to be white. Because what you're creating is harm and not harm reduction. And that is exactly what you guys have always done. Because white culture in America and around the world is giving people rope necklaces and hanging them by a tree, barbecuing us on Sunday and selling us off to the highest bidder. And if you can't do that, it's dragging Black people or people of color of the global majority behind a truck as our body parts are pulled away, bit by bit. Or the disappearing of MMIWs is white culture in America. Or Black women and girls missing in America is white culture. Beautiful Black boys and children, along with our Hispanic brothers and sisters, is white culture when they come up disappearing. Do you want me to continue what white culture in the books you read and write? Or do you want to stand here and cape for white supremacy any more than you already do? That's white culture. It has never changed. And until you change the status of your reading ideology and the narrative you like to pull, you will just be as bad as a white supremacist. So you might as well get your hood on. Don't forget to poke holes so you can see.
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the white voice.
If you think being white is the reason your books aren't selling, you should probably improve your writing. Black people in America understand the white voice because we don't have a choice. We get sent to schools where they teach in white, with curriculums that make us read in white. We have to speak in a way that whiteness understands, and dress in a way that whiteness demands. At work, we gotta sound white to get a raise. At church, whiteness gets the praise. We come up with words and whiteness changes the definition. Sometimes we gotta mimic whiteness just to get people to listen. We have to remember whiteness when the sun goes down at night. Because if we forget that we aren't white, we could lose our life. If you're a Black storyteller, don't yield to people creating anti-Black fantasies instead of addressing their own inadequacy. And if you think a Black voice being heard is a threat to your story, go get some therapy!
Good morning, you beautiful, magical motherfuckers. Malcolm Robbins here, your Chief Oppressive Officer, Texas chapter. Now, I was just seeing this video of a field white talking about support white authors. Now, you field whites are getting quite unruly. What the fuck is a author or a white author? Which one of you coloreds gave her a pen in the paper? Now, you know goddamn well the field whites are not allowed to read in white. Now, the housewives, depending on how submissive they are, we can allow them to read from the good book, but they still not allowed to use a pen. So one of you coloreds are going to have to answer for this, because there's no goddamn way that this should have gone viral on Pootie Time's internet. Now, come on now, we need to shore this up. We can't keep it allowing this type of shit to happen. What's next? Them marching across Selma's Bridge, them sitting at a colored-only counter, them using colored-only fountains, them trying to use a colored-only bathroom, or worse yet, we might see one of these field whites sitting in a colored-only school reading to good colored children. You mother... Come on now, black people. Now, we was just given this position of the new oppressors. You know, we can recall that the field whites was complaining about reverse racism and being oppressed by the coloreds. And now that we have to assume the position as the new oppressors, we have to maintain one band, one sound. We cannot allow ourselves to fall short of the glory, because the previous oppressors, they set a really high bar. And we have to exceed expectation. And this right here is not exceeding expectations. I don't know how this field white slipped through the cracks, but she need to be brought to heel. There is no such thing as a white author. If it ain't black, send it back. Tighten this shit up.
Just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the...
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera who's very confused by this take. I've seen this video multiple times. I had to hunt for it because I almost couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way this is real. Like, somebody doesn't actually think they're coming on here being like the savior for the white voice. White voices and white authors are not lacking. Like, take a look around. Take a look around anywhere. We live in a country that's been doing a mighty damn good job in making sure that white voices are not lacking. It's always something, isn't it?
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera.
Boo! Your life is so hard. Wah, wah. No one reads my books because I'm white. Wah. It's not because they're not good. It's because I'm white.
White indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the white...
Here's a brown creator sitting in front of you, hoping that you would read some BIPOC authors so you can support BIPOC authors. Do you see how silly that was? Anyways, here's some books you should read that are stellar and amazing and have been on my mind like crazy, that don't support the white voice, because the white voice isn't a thing. So
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that...
White Americans don't have fucking culture. Y'all don't need fucking voices because y'all been voicing shit for fucking forever. Educate your fucking self. White people ruin shit. They whitewash every goddamn thing like you're doing right now. Be a voice for other people. For the marginalized community. You dumbass. White people ruin every fucking thing that they fucking touch. I can say that because I'm part fucking white. But I'm happy I got culture. I'm part fucking Japanese and some other shit. Stop fucking talking about white people need voices and need to be heard and shit. Y'all fucking people already been fucking heard. And y'all ruin every goddamn thing that y'all touch, speak about, anything. Dumbass shit.
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that...
Man, fuck all the bullshit. I know the book is going to be trash. I can already predict how the book is going to go. The main character is going to be a girl. There's going to be a hella crazy age gap with another character. Then there's going to be a love triangle. And she's going to go on this really big adventure, fucking full of like fucking danger and trauma and shit like that, just so the bitch can find out that she's into BDSM. Man, fuck it. I'm going to write a book, and it's going to be 10 times better. In the book is going to be about a sentient mass of severed foreskin that comes to life, and it has a hive mind. It's going to be called Foremind because it's a foreskin.
and so that you can learn about white culture.
Hi, Stephanie. White culture doesn't exist, but black culture does, and I want to explain to you why. It's because when white colonial settlers brought Africans from the western coast of Africa to the continental United States, they systematically stripped them of individualized ideals or identities, okay? That being their culture, their languages, their tribes, their religions, things like that. Also, their literal family ties. Part of the way that we racialized blackness and thrust the idea of racial science into the mainstream during this period in order to justify chattel slavery and the way we treated the black people and black bodies here in the United States was to strip them of a historic cultural identity, because that makes it a lot easier to pretend like people aren't human and just like you if you can pretend like they don't have a broad history and culture to call back to, okay? Here in the United States, blackness as a racialized identity was forced upon all black people, no matter how culturally diverse their background really was when we brought them over from Africa. That is something that lasted for a very long time. I mean, quite literally systemically getting rid of any kind of tangible hard copy for black people and black slaves specifically, to a point where actually now, if it weren't for the fact that we can, use science and genetics to kind of track where people maybe came from historically, it's actually still very difficult for some black families here in the United States to really track their family lineage back far enough. Because of this, black culture became a unified, homogenous idea because we gave them no choice as a white culture. White people have tons of culture, but it comes in the form of French culture, German culture, Dutch culture, Italian culture, etc., etc., etc. The reason why there's no unified white culture is because the only time that white culture as a unified, homogenous idea is ever brought up is when it is done as a foil to black culture, which is also explicitly done when aligning yourself with white supremacist ideals and racism. So I need you to understand that when you talk about white culture and white identity as a unified identifier, it is specifically always historically going to align you with white supremacy and blatant racism. So if that's not somebody who you really consider yourself to be, and you really feel like a disenfranchised white person, I need you to understand that the language you're using has a lot of power, and it has a lot of context, and it has a lot of nuance. So yeah, Stephanie, I really want you to understand that when it comes to white voices, we are the dominant voice. And I hate to break it to you, but if your voice is not being heard, it's not because people don't have an interest in hearing with the white voice. Your voice, they just don't want to hear. That is a really hard thing you clearly need to learn, but bringing black people into it or other racial minorities and not understanding that white culture is not under attack here and actually has nothing to do with this conversation, that's why people are treating you the way they are. Okay, fellow white people, white culture doesn't exist. Black people, black culture absolutely does exist. And thank you for coming to class.
I could go all the way out like they do and say all of my characters are white too. So if you really want to read that white voice, then buy my books. Because I know that white people do get hell if they're proud for the color of their skin. That I do know. It is very much so like you're allowed to be proud of any race that you are, unless if you're white, then you must feel guilty for that. So I'll say it once again. If anybody wants to support a white author with white characters in my books, you want to read the white voice, then go to my TikTok.
So Stephanie Fields here has a problem. She is an author that doesn't know what research is. She's on TikTok saying, "Woe, it's me. Buy my books because I'm a white author and I am in touch with the voice of whiteness. And you should listen to me because of that fact. And I'm doing this because there are other people that are black authors or other races of authors, and they mention their race and they sell books." Stephanie. And TikTok, before you ban this video or my account for calling out mediocre whiteness, understand the mediocre whiteness I am calling out is not Stephanie specific, okay? I'm just using Stephanie's name as a generality for mediocre white women. The idea that a mediocre... Bella, how you doing? You doing all right? You sleeping well? Okay. After this video, I'll take you out walking. Excuse me, Bella. That's my dog. She's female. Where was I? Oh yeah, mediocre white author wants to take the TikTok like the default in this country is still not Lily White, a history in this country of whiteness being exclusionatory. For hundreds of years, the white voice said white only. The white voice in this country has screamed, "You're not welcome here unless you're white." From housings to jobs to country clubs, whites only has been the default. And we're just going to speed past all that. But then she talks about if you want to hear the white voice, you should buy her books. When the white voice has been the default in literature ever since the founding of this country. In the 1980s, when I was in high school, required reading lists included books like The Great Gatsby, The Catcher in the Rye, George Orwell's 1984. Stephanie, that must be where you learned your double speech at. And don't forget Love, as told through the eyes of William Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet. Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. And we learned how you all treat each other when left to your own devices in Lord of the Flies. And let's not forget Hester's story, as told through the Scarlet Letter, on how you all feel about women who bear children out of wedlock. And how could I leave out the required reading of To Kill a Mockingbird? You probably think those are black voices. No, those are white voices talking about the white savior complex as it relates to saving black people. Yeah. Bella, does it hurt? Does it hurt for mediocre white people to live at that level of delusion that they would take to a social media app and talk about what it's like to be proud of their color in a society that the default has always been their color? Does it hurt to know the history of whites only, and then to get on an app with your delusions of people needing to hear the white voice, when you literally can go to any library or any bookstore and randomly pick up a book, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the story as told by a white voice. Somebody tell me, when in this country's history has any institution that said black owned or black operated, Hispanic owned or Hispanic operated, Asian owned or Asian operated, or any other ethnic or racial identity group that is owned or operated something been exclusionatory to the way in which white owned and white operated has been exclusionatory in this country's history? I'll wait. And Stephanie, until white mediocrity comes out, I leave you with the following recommended reading. Now, you have the day that your ancestors have worked so hard for you to deserve.
If you want to know the white voice, you want to hear the white voice, you want to read the white voice, support my...
Lord, this woman again. So she's out here talking about nobody supporting the white voice, and if nobody's supporting the white characters or white authors, that is a bunch of bullshit. Okay? They've been supporting white authors, white stories, white characters. Everything is built around white characters and the white voice. The truth may be, you just don't have a voice that they're looking for. Your stories may not be exciting, may not be anything new to add to the table. You just another white voice, and there are plenty of them. And hell, just this past week, a white voice got a 2-book deal for literally existing. Nothing is on paper, no idea has been told, but they got a 2-book deal because they are white and male. So no, white people are not suffering in publishing. You can just drop that right off. Now, maybe your writing is the reason why you're not getting these deals. Your writing is the reason why people are not picking up and wanting to see more. Maybe the agents don't want to see what you got because they already know what it is. I need you to own that and quit coming on here talking about, whoa, poor white people. That is not the case. That is not the case. The white voice has always been supported. And you're not being discriminated against, please. Girl, stay off TikTok for a while and get yourself together.
White. If you want to know the white voice, you want to hear the white voice, you want to read the white voice.
The book that she's promoting is heavily based on infidelity. The main character is having an affair. What the fuck does that have to do with the white voice or white culture? Please make it make sense. I'm sorry, but I'm confident the reason why people are not seeking out your book or wanting to promote your book is because the writing isn't great and it's based on infidelity. I mean, for fuck's sake, people read and enjoy Colleen Hoover books. The problem is you, but also trying to act as if 90% of media, especially books, are not historically written by white people. Probably even more than 90%. With the narrative of white people in the storyline, with the white culture in the storyline. That is 90% of all the books ever created is based on white people. Created by white people. So your argument's flawed in the technical sense. And it is highly important to seek out books written from people of varying races and cultures and walks of life from your own to, even at a surface level, understand cultural differences. I'm not going to say you can read one book and like you're suddenly an expert and you know everything and da-da-da. No, you need to do more than just read a book. But that's just scraping the minimal surface, is exposing yourself or being willing to expose yourself to other cultures. I think you should read more books. That would actually help you with your writing skills if you read more books, especially those of varying cultures.
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the white voice. All of my characters in my books are white. I wrote it this way because I have the white voice and I want to spread it. And so that you can learn about white culture and respect white culture. And I think it's really important because the white culture is just crapped on all the time. We hear things like, oh, you don't even have culture, and what is your culture? Just slavery? You know what I'm talking about because you've heard it too. But anyway, back to my books. I'd like to cover just a little bit about them other than to just tell you that I'm a white author with white characters. When you put the two books side by side, it completes the main character's face, Willow. Willow is a 24-year-old broken woman. She gets into a marriage too quickly and things start to unravel when she learns about his dark secrets and she feels trapped. She does embark on a love affair with a guy that she meets at a book club. But is he who he says he is? These are domestic psychological thrillers told from multiple point of views, and one of them is actually from the point of view of an unknown stalker, and that's in book 2. They are fast-paced with short chapters, and so they're short and twisty, and you can grab both of them for the price of one on my TikTok shop. Thank you, and support white authors.
This is all I got from this video, and sincerely speaking, can some people really shut up, especially all these people coming out on the internet to really be very racist? Yes, can they just shut up? Because they absolutely need to shut up. What does she mean by white author sitting in front of your camera, wanting to do a white culture? Can someone explain to me what that is? What is white culture? Frankly speaking, she knows that she is not a good writer because for her book not to be selling. Now, let me tell you something. I have never heard that a white author, like all my, I don't want, but I grew up to seeing white author, even though I do not live where white people were. I grew up to books that were written by white people, right? Now, black people and other people of color are also beginning to write. Why are people not showing support to them? I just do not understand these people because This person that is here screaming that she is a white author sitting in front of your camera, trying to find a white author, that everybody in the book are all white and all that. She is not a good writer, because if she's a good writer, her book is going to sell. But because she doesn't know it, see, some people, I don't know, some people think they are in a competition with black. You are not in any competition with black people. Black people are not competing with you. Enough of you people waking up every day to make it look like it is a competition. There is no competition. Can you just get this into your skull? No competition. You all are always very quick. You want to compete with black people. There has never ever been a problem with white author. People read their books, no matter how horrible it is. Because it's a white author, you are going to sell. Except when you are a horrible writer. If there is anybody that is looking for a way to get into the market, are people that look like me. But at this point, there is no black person saying, I want to get into the market at this point in time. It is you that came out here wanting to tell us, you want to show us about white culture and all that. That they say white culture is all about slavery. Is it not? Is it not? Is it not? And other savage things. What do you want to tell me? You want to tell somebody that do not know your history? Or you want to talk about the Elaine and Shane you people did, the breaking, the Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? And all the Rosewoods and all that. Is that what you want? Is that you want to, you think we don't know? And I am sure you probably do not know all this. Because if you do, there are some things you won't come out and set your camera to start talking. You want to tell who about white culture. Like the people you've been living with for how many years do not know about your what culture actually though? Do you know what culture it means? Culture is people's way, some total of people's way of life. And it could be eating, it could be dancing, it could be anything. What people are known for. What are you known for? White supremacy. Lynching. Come on. Make this thing make sense. White authors are supported every day, all day. Your voices there had never been a day that your voices diminishes because you are white. You don't even need to tell anybody. They know that you're white, your voice matters. They know that your books, they all matters. And to my great surprise, went to Amazon and I heard that her book have an average of 3 or rating on, or you know, average rating of 3 on Amazon. The fact that I am seeing a lot of people in the comment section telling her that I can't wait to buy all your books, that also tells, I am not saying you shouldn't, but that tells the kind of person you are. Because truth is that you people do not even try to correct your rubbish, the rubbish you all say or do. And has she ever tried writing books that are actually good? Or she is writing a book and she's telling us that she has only white characters in them and they are horrible and she wants to rage bait. I do not understand these people seriously. I do not understand them. We never knew this were what you people were putting on with all these years, or decades. Allahumma. Bye for now.